Well, hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Elegant Sentiments today, and we are here today sharing our weekly card share number 30. So I thank you so much for stopping by, whether you are watching me live or I gotta turn that down. Sorry about that. Whether you're watching me live or if you're on replay, thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate it. So let's go ahead and get started with the project for today. For our embellishments, we're going to be using the iridescent pearl basic jewels and one of my favorites, my basics 3D embossing folder. And we are going to be using the Paper Florist die set. There are a ton of dies in this set. Let me see if I can separate these sheets out. I got two sheets of them here. And so for today's card, we're going to be using this die, this die, this die, and this die right here. So those are all the dies that we'll be using. And then put this back in here. And then we're going to take our sentiment. What is going on here? There we go. And then for our sentiment, we're going to be using this stamp from the Filled with Happiness stamp set. This Miss You. This is a photopolymer stamp set, and that's what we will be using today. And here is the project. It's a little whimsical card. Hello, Miss You. And so we've got the embossed folder and the card. We'll sit that there so you can see it. And then, of course, I've got all the pieces put together ahead of time for you. Hi, Debbie from Houston. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate that. Here's the envelope that we've gone ahead and embellished that. And on the inside, I did one of the tulips, and I just stuck that on the inside of the card. So that's there. And then I stamped the sentiment, and I die cut it using the nested essential dies. I used this second die here is the one that I used for that. So we have that. And then I will talk you through these petals. So what I did, I took several different colors of cardstock, and I used the old olive cardstock for all the stems, and this is the stem die, and then this is the tulip die, and then of course it cuts out 3 each time, so it makes it kind of nice. And so I went ahead and did that and adhered them. The other thing I did, I don't know if you can really see it, but I took I don't know if it's going to show. It's not going to show, but what I did was I took a small blending brush, a little teeny one like this, and I brushed the coordinating color onto each of the flowers just on one side so it could have a little bit more dimension on the flowers. And I did that for all the flowers. The colors that I used Lemon Lolly and Calypso Coral, a Bubble Bath, a Fresh Freesia, and Flirty Flamingo. So those are the colors that I use for all those petals. And it does come together really quickly. And then on the bigger card, or the bigger flower on the card, I did the same thing. I used this die. I cut it out in Lemon Lolly. And then I used a blending brush to add some extra color for dimension on the flower. And then for this piece, this is die cut from this piece, and I actually stuck this into, it's a little messy, and you can use a blending brush if you want to, but I wanted that kind of scruffy looking look for this. Now, this this die cut is actually to make a flower center. You roll it up and it'll make a cute little flower center. But when I looked at it, I thought that it would make a great grass. So I used this die cut for grass for today's project. And then we have a piece of basic white that is 3.5 by 4 3/4. And I've embossed that using the basics embossing folder. And then I have a piece of basic black cardstock that measures 3 5/8 by 4 7/8. And then I have some foam adhesive that I use to put it all together. So that's how you make all the pieces. And the only piece that we really have to do is this little guy here. So I'll go ahead and do that and get that out the way so it can be drying while we put the rest of the card together. So like I said, I just took the, I don't know what you call it, this little die cut, and I just set it down in my ink pad. And this pad it's a little juicy, but not super juicy, so it's not going to be too bad. And I just kind of ran my fingernail across it to pick up the ink, and I did it a few times to get it covered, make sure I get good coverage. That looks pretty good. It doesn't need to be perfectly uniform because grass color isn't perfectly uniform. So there we go. That's good enough. Oops. I got a little line on there. I'll get rid of that line. Okay. All right, so we'll set that aside and let it dry while we go ahead and put the rest of the project together. So let's see. We'll go ahead and put this part together first. So we're just putting that basic, the basic white that's been embossed with the basics 3D embossing folder on, and going to go ahead and adhere that. And then get that straight. That's crooked. Try again. This has a teeny little border, so it's not very forgiving, but I like that look. Okay, so go ahead and burnish that. And then we will put this is just a piece of foam adhesive sheet, and we'll stick that on the back. And make sure that it's adhered well. And then on our card front, let me burnish this part a little bit. Okay. So we'll do that. Stick that down. Oops. Okay, yeah, this is one of those, the foam adhesive is not forgiving at all. Okay, so this is dry. So I have some foam adhesive strips that I got from Amazon, and I like having this product because it's not quite as thick as the Stampin' Up foam adhesive, and so having multiple thicknesses is really useful. So this, I wanted a little bit of dimension, but not as much as you normally get with the foam adhesive that Stampin' Up carries, and then just trim that off there at the edge there, and then we'll pull off that that backing. Oh, I got a little piece stuck on me. get that off. Okay. And then we'll get this backing off and we'll put the grass down first. And we'll just line that up at the edge of the card. And stick that down. And then we'll add our tulips. So I'd like to do the center one first. So I'll put the adhesive just here on the back. And down at the bottom, I like to leave the tops loose. And if you want, you can even, and so you've got some room to push that down a little bit. Push that flower down so it looks like it's really grown up out of the grass. And then I'll do the two edges and then come back in with the ones in the middle. And we'll have to trim those down, so I'll show you. You don't want to go, you can go off the edge, but not completely so that it won't bend too much. And then, so I'll put all of them down, all the little tulips. I'm waiting for my tulips to come up. They're up, but they're not. The blooms haven't opened yet, and I'm trying to keep the deer out of them. So far, I've been about, I'd say 60, 70% successful. They were able to chow down on about a third of what has come up. So I was not happy about that. But at least I have some, which is more than last year. Last year, they ate them down to the ground before I could intervene. So I had no tulips last year. So I'm cutting these right at the edge just so that I can have, so that they'll stay together. And then I just put some glue there. That's what I did for the middle ones. And stick that down. There you go. And you don't have to worry about it being perfect because they're not perfect when they grow. They're just all together and happy and beautiful. I love tulips. I love flowers, but tulips in the spring are one of my favorites. Oops, sorry about that. And then we'll go ahead and put some glue on our sentiment and put that down. Get that straight. Yeah. And then for the flower, I wanted to have a little dimension, so I'm going to fluff up these little petals with my fingers. And you can use a bone folder, but my fingers work just as well for me. So that's what we'll do. So we'll fluff these up a little so they have some dimension. And get those back ones, bend those up a little bit too. Some people bend them the other way, and it's just a matter of preference what you like. I like them going this way. So we'll just get those all fluffed up. Go around a couple times just to make sure it's looking the way you want it to look. That looks pretty good. So there you go. And then, oh, I'm sorry that you can't get tulips, Debbie. They are pretty. I love them. Okay, and then you just stick that down like that. They're pretty. And then to finish it off, we'll just add some iridescent basic jewels. Now I got some open. Let me find my open ones. Here they are. So you can stop actually at this point and it'd be just fine. But I like having the extra little bit of sparkle, and these are just enough. So I put 3 in the center of this flower. I don't know what it is, but I'm making it a daisy. And then thank you, Debbie. I'm glad you like it. It's so easy. And I'm telling you, this die set is perfect for when you don't have time to do a lot of stamping. You can just make a few die cuts and you are good to go. I really like this. And it's great for new stampers that don't feel so good about their stamping skills yet. Die cutting is a great way to go, and you can stamp a sentiment and be on your way. Let's see. I think, well, maybe one over here somewhere. About in there. Okay. All right. So that is, oh, that's a good idea, Debbie. It could be a sun. I never even thought about that. Oh, and then if you made that the sun, you could maybe blend a little blue in the background on the top of that to make it a sky. That's a great idea. Oh, yes, I love that gilding polish too. I'm always using it on different projects. I try not to show it every week, but it has fast become one of my favorites. Okay, well, thank you so much for stopping by and for the feedback. I'm glad you're here, Debbie, and that you like the card. And that is our project for today. I will be back next week with another project. And tomorrow on my blog, I'm actually thinking I'm going to put a video up for that card instead of doing the blog. So we'll see. So there will be a new card on my blog tomorrow. It'll either be a video or it'll be the written. So I wish you all a blessed and happy Easter. And thank you again for stopping by, and hope you'll see you next week. And until then, live graciously, and we'll see you next time.